Tim Schafer recently explained in more explicit detail what's up in Psychonauts 2. A lot of the stuff he talked about in the extended 7-minute long presentation we all knew before, and I've talked about these topics in my previous 2 videos. So if anything is repeated here, I won't be going into too much detail. That's what those other videos focused on. What is nice, though, is that we got a lot of new footage to feast our eyes upon. So, as usual, I've taken a few screenshots, and I'm going to analyze them a bit for you all. Okay? Alright, let's get started. First off, completely unrelated to the game at all, I just like to say that, Tim, that is a damn fine looking room you got there. Tim introduces himself and launches into full-on I'm explaining everything mode. We see a short clip from a previous trailer of the office environment that I think is actually in Lobato's mind and not a real office block in the Mother Lobe. Raz without his goggles still looks weird as hell to me. The next shot of interest is of Raz performing what I'm assuming is an idle animation, displaying his acrobatic prowess, standing on his hands, in the middle of the Mother Lobe. We can see the signs I mentioned in the previous video, the classroom, nerve center, agents area, as well as a couple of NPCs walking or standing around. A panning shot displaying the various entrances to the previously mentioned areas are shown, and we also get a glimpse at some more idle animations in the form of Raz's now super detailed facial expressions. Tim talks about Raz using his astral/psychic projection abilities to enter the minds of people who are in need of help, whether it be dealing with their personal demons or any other mental issues that need ironing out. What I'm fairly sure is the nerve center is shown next, with a big old brain hologram in the center and Hollis Forsythe standing to the left of our boy Rasputin. They sure got some comfy seating options in the Mother Lobe with those chairs on the right. There are various screens floating around the central brain hologram, perhaps showing off parts of a person's brain being analyzed or just depicting news stories from around the globe, like Ford Cruller's lair from the first game. Mr. Schafer clarifies that in Psychonauts 2 there will be more brains to explore than in Psychonauts 1, and the camera then circles around, presumably Sasha 9's lab, with Dr. Lobato on a medical examining table. Sasha has that crazy piece of headgear on that we've seen before from a previous trailer, and to my knowledge, there is, as of now, no explanation as to what the hell it actually is or what it does. Tim describes the situation regarding Lobato in the sequel, that he was a bad guy in the first game, and he's now considerably more friendly after the whole brain-stealing incident at Whispering Rock Psychic Summer Camp. We get a couple of shots we've already seen before of Lobato's mind, nothing new here. It is explained that the reason Raz has infiltrated Lobato's mind is to obtain a piece of valuable information, namely the identity of whoever kidnapped Truman Zanotto, the current head of the Psychonauts. Dr. Lobato apparently really wants to reveal this juicy bit of information, but physically cannot because something in his head is preventing the action. So, in order to extract this specific piece of information, Raz is joined by the amazing agents Sasha 9, Mia Vodello, and the totally fine now, oh, I'm so sorry for trying to take over the world using the brains of psychic children for my psychic tank army, Coach Oleander. As Tim is describing all this, we see what Lobato was actually screaming at in the release date trailer. A giant pair of purple eyes, no doubt belonging to the mass-murdering psychic Maligula. Maligula is more than likely the one responsible for this whole kidnapping and scaring the shit out of Lobato and forcing him to keep his mouth shut. Tim implies that these forces in Lobato's mind that are holding the info hostage may have been placed there by someone or something else. It's totally Maligula. I mean, who else is it gonna be? Nels? I don't think so. You know, that makes me wonder, actually, if we'll see any of the kids from the first game show up in some capacity, maybe like a cameo, or as a full-on major role, I don't know. I'd like that. We'll see. Anyway, Tim moves on to discussing some of the enemies you'll encounter within these mines, both returning enemies from the original game and completely new ones. First up are the senses, good old classic senses. Their sole existence is to erase any thoughts or mental constructs that do not belong in the mind where they appear. You have senses, I have senses, everybody has senses. Moving on to the new enemies, or at least some of the new enemies. There is whatever the hell this is. This might not even be an enemy, actually. It's not clear. What is clear as day, however, is that these adorable bastards are called doubts, and they are definitely new enemies. Now, Tim also mentions things called regrets along with the doubts, and those may actually be the flying things we saw before. But the blob things could be the regrets instead, and the flying things could be the doubts. I don't know. Either way, 2 new types of enemies, doubts and regrets. Also, there's a lot of teeth in Lobato's mind. Go figure. We then get taken to the brain in a jar level, where we see Raz engaging in combat with some of the enemies in that mind, with their psychedelic color scheme. The specific moves Raz pulls off aren't named nor described, and I can't get crystal clear screenshots of what's actually happening in some of these shots, but I'm sure they'll be fun to pull off. Well, I say that, but we get told that the Psychic Punch is being used at a certain point, which is the most basic melee attack in the game. In this shot, it looks like the sensors in the brain in a jar level are green to match that mind's color scheme. Nice touch, nice touch. The Psi/Psychic Blast is mentioned next, with Raz using it to take down a flying enemy. Maybe one of them doubts or regrets. I have no idea. You go, Raz. Raz also uses his pyrokinesis, and he uses it to set fire to this enemy, and it runs around like a maniac. Levitation is back as well, obviously. Imagine a Psychonauts sequel without levitation. Madness, I tell you. He's in Hollis Forsyth's mind here, the current second-in-command at Psychonauts. I have a video talking about her mind, if you are interested. Another levitation shot here, but this time we see one of the various spots situated in the wilderness around the Mother Lobe. They've mentioned being able to find things in the surroundings, like abandoned campsites and shit like that. This could be one of those things. Looks amazing. Obviously, with YouTube's compression, it looks like hot, steaming ass, but I'm sure it'll look fantastic once we actually, get the game and play it. I wonder if that notice board over there on the right is a means of obtaining side quests, or something. This next bit interests me because I'm not 100% confident as to where this is. I'm not sure if it's an actual location within the Mother Lobe, or if this is all in Hollis' mind at this point. This doesn't look like the classroom that we've seen before, so I'm leaning more towards this being sort of a psychic classroom, completely within Hollis' mind. The giant splitting Hollis head seems to heavily suggest that as well. This is where she talks about the mental connection gameplay mechanic I talked about before. Basically, it's a psychic grappling hook utilizing multiple thoughts connected together. Actually, yes, this is 100% in Hollis' mind. There's a goddamn figment over there. How the hell did I miss that? Anyway, a nice shot of Hollis making some theatrical movements while explaining the mental connection ideas, and of Raz with two of the other interns. Norma is the one on the left, and Lizzie is the one on the right. They both look supremely pissed off at something, and to be honest, it's probably Raz. The next section deals with Hollis' history as a medical student, which I've discussed before, so I'm skipping it. The only new pieces of info here are that Raz was responsible for introducing the gambling/casino aspects into Hollis' mind, and that it seems as if we'll have to enter her mind at least twice on separate occasions. This is because Raz screws around with the mental connection ability a little too much and connects the gambling thoughts to other important parts of Hollis' mind, resulting in the weird casino-hospital hybrid mind we see here. This is the morgue door, dice hub thing that Raz can use to access the different areas of Hollis' mind. And we get some more footage and topics already discussed in the previous videos. Look at Raz's face over here. His face has got so much more emotive power now. It's great. Like I said before, it's almost Pixar-esque. This is the heavy sensor, by the way, and I like that it appears as if we'll be given a little bit of information regarding a new enemy when we first encounter it in the form of something resembling class notes. Another new enemy is revealed, the Bad Idea. They attack by throwing light bulbs at Raz. Big red angry light bulbs. Two moves on to talking about the Psychonauts headquarters, the Mother Lobe, next. We see that same shot from earlier of the 3 doors to the classroom, the nerve center, and the agents area. This time, however, the shot lasts a bit longer, and we get a look at another sign leading to an area known as the Noodle Bowl. This is, more than likely some sort of restaurant or place where the staff can get a bite to eat. And then, wow. That is a nice angle. We see the other half of this main area that I don't think we've ever seen before up till now. Some more neon signs whose text I can't quite make out, and a big mural up against the wall that looks like it was carved out of rock or something. This, as we'll see in a bit with a better angle, depicts the Psychic Six, the founders of the Psychonauts, brought together by that absolute madman and bacon enthusiast Ford Cruller. We also get an idea of how many NPCs will be walking around at any given time in the Mother Lobe. Looks good, nice and populated. Mia Vodello levitates within some sort of glass dome container thing, while probably meditating and forgetting about those orphans who burned alive, I'm sure. She is definitely over it. This may be her quarters, Mia's area, so to speak. Sasha has his lab. Mia has this chill-looking lounge area. It looks like some construction is going on behind her. The machines in Sasha's lab are shown next, and then we cut to the nerve center with more generic-looking NPCs and Hollis Forsyth as usual. I gotta say, though, even the generic NPCs in this game look interesting to me. And, I'm sure Tim has painstakingly written multiple lines of dialogue for each one of them. Back to the main Motherlobe area with the Psychic 6 mural, and this time we're closer, with what appears to be a barber shop / hair salon to the right, indicated by those giant scissors. It looks like people are queuing up outside as well. What the hell don't they have in this place? Also, is that a part of a miniature golf course on the left? Or am I looking into things too much here? Does that guy on the left have a golf club? I don't know, man. I don't know. You know, I think it might be. I think he might be psychically moving that club hands-free style. The hell? And then we see a bowling pin on the far left a few frames later. Good God, this Motherlobe is amazing. Noodles, golf, and bowling. Sign me up. We get a nice look at the cafeteria, which may or may not be the noodle bowl place. It's nice and lively, full of people enjoying their meals, with a lovely murky green view of what's going on outside. Tim mentions the fact that there will be many secret areas and collectibles, treasures, around the Motherlobe, and its surrounding wilderness to explore, accompanied by a few shots of presumably some of these areas. Raz then runs down a corridor covered in flashing red warning lights, before ending up at that guy from the release date trailer's lab, and yes, it does seem that there will be another scavenger hunt type of quest going on in the sequel. This is a much better shot of the Psychic 6 wall carving mentioned before. These are the same people whose names and faces are carved into the tree stumps surrounding the main campfire in the reception area from the first Psychonauts game, including Ford Cruller. There's a brief piece here where Tim talks about how they captured that same wonder of exploration from the original game, as we take a look at some of these environments surrounding the Motherlobe. You know it's going to be a fun time when you can swing along the ribs of a dinosaur skeleton. So we know that mountain goats are a thing in this game, but now we can officially confirm the existence of flamingos. These guys don't move much, so it's hard to tell whether they're actually alive or not. They could just be realistic statues or something. I mean, they're probably real. Another shot of the site of the soon-to-be opening cave of the Sasclops, a mysterious creature with one eye. Looking forward to looking into that. I guess it's kind of like the equivalent of Linda the Lungfish from the first game, maybe. There's also a sign pointing to a campground on the right. Raz jumps across some platforms, showing off those smooth as silk jumping animations. I'm not sure where that is. I thought it was the base of the Motherlobe, but seeing as Tim is talking about a titanium quarry at this point in the video, it's probably the quarry. Reminds me of the Stonecutters building from The Simpsons. Abandoned mines are also a thing we can explore now. Hopefully chock full of psychic animals ready to maul us to shreds. Another shot of Raz swinging from pole to pole, outside, somewhere. This particular area next excites me a lot. It's called the Questionable Area, and it's located next to the quarry. It's kind of like a mystery spot type area, where the typical laws of nature seem to just not work the way they usually do. Waterfalls flow up. The local wildlife behaves very strangely, although that part isn't explained in detail. Raz jumps over a bridge, probably still in or around the questionable area, before approaching what looks like one of those log-cutting machines. You know the ones, like from Skyrim, where you spend hours role-playing a person who saws logs for a living. Man, good times. Good times. This waterfall that flows upwards looks really nice. I'm just constantly impressed at the minutiae of environmental detail on display here. The rocks, the trees, the water, the wood. It all looks great! There's another flamingo down there as well, by the way. As Tim talks about the animals behaving strangely, we see a squirrel that looks very similar to the squirrels from the first game run past Raz, with an eye hovering above it. Not sure what's going on there. Maybe it indicates that the squirrel has seen you and is actively running away. Ooh, like it's been alerted to Raz's presence. I don't know. We get another look at the Sasclops cave. This time, I think it's the entrance. Maybe one of the entrances. I don't know. Multiple entrances, one entrance, who knows. Some mysterious rock paintings as well. Or handprints. Either way, color be interested and or intrigued. Raz is sneaking in this clip, interestingly. Maybe he's trying not to disrupt the Sasclops' nap. Another point of interest within the questionable area is Raz's family. That's right, his entire goddamn family are camped out here. Here we see Donatella, Raz's mother, balancing on Raz's youngest brother's head. Creepy. Raz's older siblings are watching in the background. Raz's father, Augustus, then runs up and does a dramatic jump into the air, eyes closed in appreciation of the fine art of circus acrobatics. Tim states that Raz's family have a little bit of psychic ability, and we will explore the untold story of how his family was cursed to die in water, and how this all connects to the Psychonauts as a whole. So here's a better shot of Raz's entire family, but who in the name of sweet merciful Christ is that old woman on the right there? I mean, it's probably Raz's grandmother or something, but she looks terrifying as hell. At least I think it's his grandmother. Looks like she's a couple of days away from becoming a corpse. The next shot is interesting. I'm not entirely sure what's happening here, but I think that's Maligula's silhouette on the left there. We see the new hand of Galocchio model, as Tim describes the situation and clarifies that, yes, it is all in Raz's mind. It's not an actual hand coming out of the water there. It looks like the same thing is true for the sequel, same as it was in the first game. If you can't get out of the water in 2 attempts, the hand comes out and drags Raz underneath, below the water. There's a bunch of clips we've seen before, and we get a glimpse at the new psychic ability Raz can use to slow down specific objects or things around him. Here it is used on one of the windmill propeller eye things from the Brain Energy levels, and we get a nice close-up shot of Raz's new stylish backpack, complete with merit badges. Now in HD. That latest one at the bottom is more than likely that time slowdown ability, and Raz strikes his trademark "I got a new badge" pose. Wow. A shot of Maligula next. Looks like she's manipulating water. I'm sure that has nothing to do with Raz's family's curse at all. Tim talks about her for a bit. She's a mass murderer, we know this, who just happens to be psychic, and one of the first ever big bads the Psychonaut ever went after. She's supposed to be dead, as we know, but someone is looking to revive her, for whatever malicious reason. And that's it. That's it. Significantly longer video than I thought it'd be, but hey, I wanted to cover as much new stuff as possible without endlessly repeating the same crap that I mentioned in my previous Psychonauts 2 videos. Enjoy your weekend!